concern or of the strikes itself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Shivani. In my view, these are still early days. So I think India is still watching how the whole thing pans out. In my view, it definitely has not taken sides. And, it's just yesterday we have to, let's say, prioritize in terms of what our core interests are. And our core interests are basically in the Gulf region, in West Asia, in terms of the presence of our nationals there, of our diaspora there. And in that context, the Prime Minister has spoken to the President of the United Arab Emirates. And the other aspect there, of course, is meaning who is the perpetrator, who started this whole thing. That has come from Israel, and basically the person who needs to be counseled there in terms of pursuing the path of diplomacy, pursuing the path of dialogue, it is Israel. And so I think the Prime Minister has spoken there. As I said, these are early days. Iran also continues to be extremely important for us. Of course, in 2018-19, we had stopped our imports of oil from Iran. But the connectivity project, the Chabahar project, the INSTC project, all those are very important because that is really the lifeline, the INSTC and Chabahar to Central Asia. That is the lifeline to
I want to go across to Major General Rajan Kochar also, who continues to be with us. So your sense of this diplomatic, tightrope, if I can call it that, if that India is walking, or is it not anymore? India is actually not viewing this as a tightrope anymore. The Indian government doesn't feel that it is obliged to say anything about the Ayatollah's killing or about the strikes on Iran.
Thank you, Shivani. Ambassador Sajanar is a diplomat. I'm a military man, so I'll speak in a different perspective. I actually see things as of now. Every country looks at its national interest, I think. And your foreign policy flows from your national interest. Today, what we are seeing in days to come, I think, writings on the wall, the geopolitics of West Asia is not going to remain the same. And I think India has realized that where the power is, and from where India can gain a maximum leverage. And that is what we are seeing in the Gulf today, because predominantly we must not forget that 80% of our energy and oil is imported, and more than 50% from the Gulf countries. So we have to reach out to them, because this is the time where India has to express its solidarity with countries like UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman. And if you would have seen in the last around 24 months, how many times Prime Minister Modi has visited these countries.
Okay, all right, I get your point. Let's just keep our focus on what we're witnessing on Dalal Street as well. We'll get more opinion on this as the markets open for the day. In the pre-trade opening, we saw the markets down by 300 points, and it's continuing to be down now. Sensex is down by 1,000 points, Nifty down by almost 1.25%. And similarly for the Sensex, and these are going to be worrying signs. When the CCS, etc. took place yesterday, obviously the focus was on security concerns, Indians and all of that. But amidst the government, Aman, do you think there will be a large concern of, all of these fallouts of the war as well?
Well, I think, Shivani, the government is expecting it. To be very frank, the government thinks that, the Dalal Street will see an impact, when there is multiple countries fighting each other in a very violent conflict. Obviously, the stock markets get spooked. We'll have to wait through the day and see how much the impact really is by the end of the day. Right now, we can see the Sensex is down almost by 1,000 points right now in the morning. We'll have to wait and see. But what I just want to bring in one more point, what Mr. Sajahan were also saying. See, when it comes to West Asia, I think India has really put in a lot of effort in the last few months to become a very credible and a trustworthy partner in West Asia. You saw Prime Minister Modi visit Oman and Jordan in December. Then you saw all the Arab foreign ministers coming to India in January, and the Prime Minister met all of them. You had the UAE President also coming here in the month of January. And then you saw the Prime Minister's visit to Israel just days before this conflict broke out. So I think India is seen as a very credible, a very neutral partner in West Asia. And even now, when the day the strikes started, we saw Mr. S. Jaishankar call up both his counterparts in Israel as well as Iran. Yes, yesterday the call has only been to the UAE president so far and to the Prime Minister of Israel. India has not condemned the assassination of Khamenei so far, but is that also because the way Iran has reacted after that, the way Iran is trying to attack the civilian infrastructure in UAE, in Saudi Arabia, with so many Indian expats live, and India, of course, is most concerned right now about the safety of Indians in the Middle East, as diplomat Sajjan Har was saying that 9 million expats live in the Middle East. That is India's top priority right now. But the Congress definitely is taking pot shots at the BJP government that have we picked a side because we are not condemning the assassination of Khamenei, a sovereign leader in a sovereign country.
That's right. We'll come back to our studio guest in just a bit. Angie Wong, our Republican strategist guest, is also continuing to be with us. But I want to go across to my colleague Akansha, who's also joining us from the newsroom. These updates coming in as far as the markets are concerned, they seem to be stabilizing a little bit, because in the pre-trade opening phase, it was about 3,000 points that the market was down by, but now it's actually recovered and it's under 1,000 points. My colleague Haim is here. Haim, can you just give us a sense of what's really happening?
Right, so of course right now what we're seeing, of course, the ripple effects on the markets here as well. We also have to understand that globally the disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, it's affected some 15 major stocks. Right now, if you look at Nifty 50, at the Indian indices right now, it's down 284 points. We're looking at Sensex, which is down 1,000 points. We're looking at Nifty Bank as well.
This side and show the screen,
we can just show this tracker here. And this is the Indian indices that we're looking at Nifty 50 down 284 points, the Sensex down 1,000 points here. Let's look at the global indices as well. Now, these are the GIFT Nifty, which is down 256, and Dow Jones Futures, which is down 391. If you look in the Nikkei 225, that's down 790 points. Let's just here is the list of all the top losers, and then we also have the list of top gainers. Let me just go back up here to this tracker, look at the banks here and the ONGC as well. So these are the indices that we are looking at. Now we're going to continue seeing these disruptions going forward, as well as we've been discussing since the morning. The Strait of Hormuz, which is the major choke point in West Asia, is going to have a direct impact on India as well.
So about a percentage, maybe a little bit more, is what the markets are down by. They started a little bit more in the red earlier today, but now it seems to be stabilizing. I don't know how much it stabilizes to, but certainly oil and oil disruptions are going to be one of the biggest reasons why we are witnessing this. That is one. But the Strait of Hormuz being, incapacitated right now, blocked right now, if I can use that term, that will also have an impact on other goods and other trade supplies that are now all up in the air. A lot of ships actually have been stranded in the Strait. They've been waiting for orders. Plus, we've got updates from Indian ports as well, where the go-ahead for those ships hasn't been given because there's nowhere to go right now. There's already a traffic jam, if I can say that, a ship jam as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. Let's go across to our guest, Angie Wong, who's also continuing to be with us. So how do you look at this? How long can Iran officially said it's not going to block the Strait of Hormuz, but we're seeing that it's not operating. There is a backlog now that is now piling up of ships there in the region as well. How long can they do this, and how long can other world powers allow this to happen?
Well, I think a lot of this is by design. I mean, anyone entering a war in the regions knows that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be one of the very first things that was going to get shut, if not disrupted. Already here in the U.S., we're seeing gas lines because those who are watching the news understands that there's going to be some sort of disruptions. Even though we have plenty of reserves, the consumer here is feeling that there might be some disruptions and therefore gas prices may go up. Now, the reason why I say that some of it is by design is because later this month, President Trump meets with Xi Jinping over U.S.-China trade relations. And it seems as though the strategy with the Trump administration has been to cut off the oil supply for both China and for Russia for the purposes of ending world conflicts. So this could go on for some time if President Trump chooses to. Now, if politically here in the U.S. it doesn't look very good for him, if Americans are paying upwards of $7 per gallon for gas like we did back in the Biden administration, well, he might not like that very much and try to reverse a few things. But I would not discount this as being a short-term situation. I would definitely say that, I don't believe that the Trump administration minds if gas prices and other disruptions to energy remains this way for at least
I'll come back
some
to you
time.
with more on that, because that's an interesting comment you made. A lot of others suggesting to that point as well. But Vinny Motiwala, my colleague from CNBC TV 18, is now joining us on the market situation as far as India is concerned. Vinny, your thoughts on what we're witnessing?
Hi, absolutely. So what we're seeing in terms of the markets today, as expected, we're seeing red on the screen for the Indian markets. Nifty is down more than 200 points, 1%, more than 1% decline. Actually, now it's down 300 points, the Nifty 50. So down 1.2% in the trading session. The Sensex is down more than 1,000 points. That is also down 1.3%. Broader end of the market, that's when you look at the Nifty mid cap and small cap, also is seeing a more than 1% decline in the trading session. As of now, all the sectors, whether you look at, are trading in the red. Obviously, leading the decline today is going to be the realty pack. That's down more than 2%. We have energy, auto, PSU banks, all of them seeing a decline of more than 1% in the trading session. Now, obviously, because of the issues that were there and the concerns that are going on and the war going on in US, Israel, Iran, the conflicts over there, that has led to a decline in a lot of stock names, whether you look at something like an L&T, KC, International, all of them are seeing a bit of a pressure. Aviation, tourism names, all of them under pressure as well. Viatech, Wabagam, some of them. While some bit of a green coming in on the screen, silver prices have gone up. So that's why we're seeing Hinzing, that's in focus. Oil India, ONGC, that is seeing a bit of a green on the screen. But apart from that, it's red across the screen as of now for the Indian markets.
Yes. What is the kind of indication do you think the market would be looking at if we talk about the trading day today or, the coming days, because this conflict could last at least a week? What are the assurances, if any, from, the oil companies, from other big trading companies, shipping companies, that the market would be looking at in the hours and days to come?
So actually, maybe, everyone is going to keep an eye out on in terms of the Strait of Hormuz, what is going to be happening on that, whether there is a continuation, what are the conversations they are having with their clients, because everyone is passing through the Strait of Hormuz. A lot of our crude, that is moved around, across the globe goes through Strait of Hormuz. So that is a key data point that everyone is watching out for in terms of commentary from any management that you have. You want to understand that. Even rice exporters, Iran is one of our important rice export countries that we have. So what happens on that front? Whether everything is going to be fine, Strait of Hormuz, is it going to be working? As of now, it is said to be operational, but people are not taking the risk because cost, insurance, all that increases for the shipping companies as well. So everyone is moving past it, going around it and going for it, or some of them are stuck just around outside it. So that's a bit of a concern. Any commentary on that front from any management that everyone will watch out for, as well as de-escalation or commentary coming in from Trump or the Iran leaders. That's something that we'll watch out for, given what is the de-escalation strategy over here now.
All right. Vinny Motiwala from CNBC TV 18, thanks a lot for joining us and just, setting up the market day. A lot of investors and those who are dealing with the markets would be keeping a very close eye on that. Signals would be very important on a day like today. But oil prices have surged after these strikes on Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. This is a strategic choke point, as we've been telling you, connecting the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Sea. My colleague Anand Narasimhan, along with military expert Tom Cooper, is explaining us its significance.